Phoenix Lady here. I love to listen to the conservative twins, also known as the Hodge twins, Keith and Kevin, comment on various events in the world today. Today I got to listen to them twice. First about the shooting in Detroit, then about AOC and her statement that a world without police looks like the suburbs. They are both hilarious in their take on AOC and serious in their message to the Black community about the absolute responsibility residents of that community have to hold themselves accountable for their choices and actions. Bravo, guys. Quite apart from the fact that even our little town of Manhattan, Montana has police officers, even though since I've been here I haven't heard of any crimes happening. AOC clearly doesn't know what she's talking about, but you can watch the video for yourself. I put it in the description below. In viewing the comments just to see who's saying what, I ran across the following. Quote, do you think that the people that elected Trump ever think, what the hell did we do? Of course not, because the evidence says they are too dense, that is, stupid, to even understand how their votes are directly responsible to the ongoing destruction of our way of life. By the way, I'm a Vietnam vet. My father landed on Omaha Beach on D-Day, and my son was a Marine. So if you want to, as so many Trump supporters seem to, use the Patriot card, unless you too served, in which case, how can you support a draft-dodging coward? Just forget it. Unquote. I couldn't let that go without a response. Here's what I came up with. Quote, thanks to you, as well as your father and your son, for your service. I'm in your age group, though could not serve because I'm half deaf, and my parents, both liberals, would probably have shrieked loudly if I'd even thought of enlisting in the Waves or other branches of the military open to women in the late 60s or early 70s. My husband was willing to enlist when drafted, but due to one leg being significantly shorter than the other, was classified something like 2F and sent home. I only share this because not all of us could serve. For a variety of reasons, I am a sheep. You and your family members have been sheepdogs, whether you originally intended to be or not. I honor you and all the other sheepdogs out there who are all that stand between me and the rest of the sheep on the one hand, and the wolves who want us for dinner on the other. I grew up with liberal Democrats who truly believed the Democrats had the best interests of us sheep at heart. But over time, through the struggle of making it in the world and reading a wide variety of conservative books in my husband's library, I began to realize that all of life comes down to just one choice that faces everyone every moment of every day. Are we going to accept reality and our places in it, whether we understand either or not, or are we going to deny both? While most liberals stand more or less in the middle of the political spectrum, I found myself moving further to the right, not from an emotional standpoint, but a logical one. I chose to accept reality and my place in it. I saw during my years in Detroit the aftermath of the riots of '67, engaged in by a large number of people pulling the victim card. Even 10 years later, large areas along Grand River looked like a bombed-out war zone. I lived through the double-dip recession caused by Nixon taking us off the gold standard, followed by the oil embargo, the 444 days of the Iranian crisis under Jimmy Carter, and so on. I found I could not vote for Democrats, as over time it has become painfully obvious that the Southern Democrats in particular truly never accepted the reality that they lost what they still call the war of Northern aggression. They never wanted to give up the power they had as slaveholders, and they still don't. While the Bushes, father and son, could have done better as presidents, Clinton, the first Black president, and Obama, the second Black president, would have done much worse had we who try to be adults not taken control of the House in 1994 under Newt Gingrich, only to have to come back in 2010 to take it back again. I have not trusted Hillary Clinton since she was First Lady, trying very hard to get us into single-payer health care, which does not work. She has always struck me as a wolf under a very poorly fitted sheepskin. She wants total control over all of us, especially men. She is convinced she is so much smarter than the rest of us, especially those of us she calls deplorables. I voted for Mr. Trump as a vote against Hillary because I could see that if she did become president, she would hasten the collapse of this country into the control of China if Iran didn't get the bomb and kill us with an EMP strike first. Now, China has infiltrated us over the last 2 decades after the Marxists had succeeded in taking over the education establishment over the last century. Longer than I've been around, but my dad saw it coming as a teacher. The BLM movement is run by admitted Marxists and is funneling donations to them, to the Democrats. Joe Biden is working hand in hand with Bernie Sanders and the rest of the extreme leftists, demanding we turn the United States into the United Socialist States of America. You want me to vote Democrat? Not only no, but hell no. I will vote for Mr. Trump because he has, against considerable odds, kept his promises to us, the people, especially to make every effort to clean out the swamp. Of course he hasn't succeeded yet, but not for lack of trying. The crocodiles and pythons in the swamp have fought back hard, and I don't mean just the Democrats. I also mean China's CCP, which, by delaying notification of the world about SARS-2, aka COVID-19, unleashed an unnecessary pandemic on the world, essentially in retaliation for the trade war Mr. Trump declared on them to stop their theft of everything, especially our military secrets. But that process had been set in motion by Clinton back in the day. And, of course, he's also going after China for all of their ongoing human rights violations. And what they've done to Hong Kong and threatened to apply to everyone in the world with their truly draconian national security law. But this really isn't the place for me to give you and everyone else a history lecture. Do your own research. You're here, so you must be willing to watch at least a few of the conservative voices being ignored by the mainstream media. I recommend The Officer Tatum at Timcast and Tim IRL, the Epoch Times YouTube channels, that would be NTD News, China Uncensored, and Crossroads, to name just a few. Just don't call me, a National Merit Scholar class of '69, too dense, i.e. stupid, to even understand how my votes are directly responsible to the ongoing destruction of our way of life, unquote. I at least make the effort to keep accepting reality and my place in it and act like an adult. How about you? Phoenix Lady out.